how much taller.
I've done this a lot. And we are very tall.
All right, let's do
That's
it.
the first thing people say when they meet us in person. They're like, whoa, you ladies are tall. Our dad is very tall.
We're not really that tall. We're 5'7".
No, I'm 5'9", 5'10" with shoes on. You're 5'9".
Oh. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Okay, now we have to measure ourselves.
We'll do some lines on the wall
I've always
here.
told the Popo I'm 5'7".
The popo?
The police.
They're definitely not going to be able to find you when you commit a crime.
Like the DMV. That's not the police.
DMV.
Okay, let's just do this thing.
What's up, guys? Today we are diving into probably my favorite topic in this juicing realm. It's juice preservation. I just love this. Like when I'm dead and gone at my eulogy, if you're reading my eulogy, if I go first, it's going to be like,
If I go first.
She really taught us how to preserve our juice.
Oh my gosh.
So we've got lots of fun topics.
We're already off to a weird start.
We're going to dive into here today. Well, this is the morning version of us. Normally we film in the afternoon.
Right now?
Hopefully we don't get interrupted a lot, but trying to get this done before the lunch rush. So
Yeah. Okay.
this is a beautiful, I wanted to show you guys this quick before it got picked up, a beautiful frozen order we are sending out. We're going to dive into frozen juice preservation later in the pod, but just wanted to show you guys what this looks like.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
We do these 30-day frozen packs where customers can order a ton of juice. We freeze it. It lasts for 3 months in their freezer. And yeah, they're really popular. Gorgeous order.
So pretty.
Celery, strong green, sweet green, snap, and classics.
Yeah.
Love it.
Do we have a fun fact today?
Why don't we continue the pregnancy fun fact?
Okay.
Yeah. Last week we talked about how I'm pregnant, and we heard the baby last night. We had a baby appointment last night. Little heartbeat. It's really fast. Baby's heartbeats are really fast. Did you know that? In the 140s.
140. When you said that, I was like, 140.
I know, like, I think they're 140 to 160 usually. I don't know. Anyways.
There's a fun fact.
Yeah. But you'll see, or doctors will tell people that avoid unpasteurized products, specifically unpasteurized juice, as it has not been pasteurized. It hasn't had that kill point where any pathogens that may be present in the juice your body can't fight. And the reason they say that is because, well, two reasons. One, pregnant women have a weakened immune system. Normal people can fight off these pathogens with no problems. Your body can handle it perfectly fine, but it's the people with weakened immune systems where they get a little bit more concerned. But the other area is somebody died a really long time ago, very sad, but from unpasteurized juice. And it ended up, it didn't have anything to do with if the juice was pasteurized or not. It had to do with really bad apples that it just was obvious and it shouldn't have happened. So regardless.
Just like all those, it's like they say healthy fats or fat is bad for you. It's really not. It's just one of those things that gets taken out of context and really run with.
Right. Or, there's a ton of studies, and for some reason they really highlight this one study that had this weird caveat, and it was like, what? So anyways, our belief, my belief as pregnant twice now and drinking tons of juice is juice is great. It's actually one of the best things you could have when you're pregnant. So much micronutrients that's hard to get in your regular diet. Easy way to get those fruits and veggies in and nourish the baby. And as long as you know it's made safe, as long as you know it's made in a safe, clean kitchen and it's fresh. Usually I won't drink super old juice while pregnant. I'll drink it up to 5 days. When not pregnant, I would drink like 7-day-old juice, like no problem. But usually pregnant, I'll take it to 4 or 5 days just to be safe. And so as long as you know if you're making juice at home, totally fine. Make sure your juicer's clean, your produce is clean, and if you're shopping around, I would look for organic, unpasteurized juice from a juice shop where you can trust that it was made clean and that it is fresh. So
that's a great fun fact for this episode because we're going to teach you how to make incredible juice and why preservation is so important. We're going to get this back in the freezer and then we're going to jump into this pod. This is really fun. I'm super excited for this podcast.
You'll like this one.
This podcast is
sponsored by juicebusinessebooks.com. You guys know we offer consulting services, and our most popular one this year has been our masterclass. This is where we take all of our resources, we put them in the 6-week course, and we spend 6 weeks with you guys teaching y'all everything we know about starting, perfecting your business to be a blessing and not a burden. Our next masterclass is in October, so if it's on your mind to start a juice business, come to us.
Yeah.
We'll take great care of you. We'll teach you everything we know and show you how to get your profit margins right, show you everything you need to know about opening a storefront, everything about juicing, juice preservation.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest topics we cover
Yes.
is just teaching you how to make incredible juice.
Yes.
And all the details that go into it. So if this is something you're struggling with, your juice just being beautiful and really sustaining its shelf life, this is the course for you.
Yeah.
And we also go over all the business stuff on how to sell this incredible juice that you're making. So.
And it's for startups that are just beginning, but it's also for people that have been operating for a while and need to fine tune their operations, need to make better juice, need to make sure their profit margins are good, their systems. So if you're mad at your business, we can make you love your business again. That's what we really help a lot with, is getting it all right.
All right, let's jump into the pot.
Okay.
You guys just saw our frozen juice lineup. These are our fresh juices that we serve here in-house. These haven't been touched today for 3 days. Well, I normally...
Wait, when you say haven't been touched, haven't been shaken?
Haven't been shaken. Okay. I do normally freshen them up in the morning just to kind of redistribute the preservative that's in there. But these haven't been touched today, and this is typically what they look like throughout the longevity of their shelf life. So why this is so important is... we shop with our eyes, and first impression is everything. Maybe you as a salesman can kind of touch on how important that really is, just making that solid first impression.
Yeah, and I guess if you're not familiar with juice, or if you're new to this, oftentimes you'll go into a juice shop and the juices are very separated. It's a very like clear liquid and then like bumpy stuff at the bottom. I don't know, you can just tell there's obvious separation going on, which is normal, but it's also like you can control it. Like there are ways to have gorgeous, vibrant juices for 6 days. Like they don't change. So,
and just, we have been that juice bar. Like it's okay to learn a new skill. It's okay to have some grace for yourself as you learn something new. We have been there and served some funky looking juices. It's okay.
And that's why we now are telling you guys what we've learned, because it's so cool. It's so cool that you can control this. First thing that comes to mind is if for some reason you make a juice that does separate, I can see this question coming up, like, do you still sell it because it looks weird? Or I don't know, like the answer is yes. Like sometimes it is normal for juice to separate, and it's still nutritious and it's still good. It's just like Lauren was saying, we shop with our eyes. So first of all, when you're posting photos on social and you're selling and you're marketing this beautiful product, and then customers come in and they see something totally different, it makes you stop and go, wait a minute, what's going on?
Something doesn't feel right here.
You'll see this with like billboard ads where it's a food ad or a commercial and you're like, wow, that looks amazing. And then you go get it, maybe it's a sandwich or a salad or whatever, and you're like, this looks nothing like the photo. And my first impression is already, I feel like I'm being lied to. Like I feel like I'm getting gypped. So there's this aspect of sales and marketing and trust, right? That you're building with your customers. And so that's option area number one. We often talk about when you're selling to post photos of the actual product you're selling. Don't just post a photo of your menu. Don't just post a caption. Don't just post a photo of you saying, hey, we've got shark juices, like they're delicious, they're yummy, blah, blah, blah. Go, hey, we've got shark juices. This is our shark juice. Like show the product. We have seen actual statistical like difference where I post a caption of something and maybe it gets like a little bit of interaction, people are excited, but then I post the actual photo of it, huge interaction, huge comments, huge orders coming in. Like people want to see the product they're buying, and then they want it to be accurate to what they're actually picking up and coming in store and purchasing. So then obviously when customers are in store, to see vibrant, beautiful juice that is cohesive, you know, it's not separated, it makes a difference. It just looks more appetizing.
I think it's something that we often overlook, but we really need to realize the importance of your product looking beautiful and how that can take you from a 12-ounce, one single 12-ounce juice sale to a 6-pack sale. And those really add up. Our average sale here is what? $34. So the confidence in purchasing a product that we know with full confidence will last the longevity of its shelf life, and even if people don't get to it when they should, it's still good for a couple days after that. So having the confidence in the product to really perform over that 7-day drink by date, and that's determined by, we're going to dive into shelf life here and extraction, but that week shelf shelf life is determined by the health department. Am I right?
Yeah, you're not allowed to sell any prepared food after 7 days.
Yeah, so we really want our juices to perform the exact same way that they came off the press as they did on day 7, day 5. And we have really just mastered that and dialed it in.
Yeah.
And again, that is a core teaching of what we do. One of my favorite first impressions. Do you have any fun first impressions?
Well, I was just going to say on those lines is not only does it serve your customer better because they're always getting a consistent product, but it makes your job so much easier to know you can rely on the fact that the 4-day-old juice in the fridge is still delicious. You don't have to be scared your customer is getting a weird juice. The fact that it's still going to look beautiful, it makes your job so much easier. Like you can rely on your businesses. That's the beauty of setting up good practices, right? Is you don't have to worry about your business. So once you have good practices, you know my profit margins are good. My juice is shelf stable and good. My salesmen are good. Like you can rely on your business and have more peace.
Yes, for sure.
But stories? Do you have stories?
Oh yeah, I do want to talk about that. So first impression stories. I have one that comes to mind.
Go ahead.
A YouTube subscriber was watching one of my videos, and I mentioned a juice bar that we have mentored, 1111 in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And she commented, she said, "Hey, I heard that you mentioned this juice bar, and I went there and I tried all of your juices and they were amazing."
At a different juice bar because we mentor them and they make our recipes. Oh,
and that just, I will carry that with me. It makes me want to cry thinking about it. To have created a product and to have taught somebody how to make it and do it well. And I see all of their photos and they do it so well. Dwan, you're such an amazing juicer.
Yeah.
I'm getting emotional. But to have somebody experience our product through somebody else that we have mentored is
so cool.
Is
It
wild.
just makes you really proud because, like, we're just two little girls having fun doing what we do, and we get all these we used to get all these questions. Hey, can I get your recipe on this? Can I get this? How did you do that? And we just started offering it, and now it's like a big thing. It's just so cool.
So cool. So I say with full confidence that we can teach you how to do this, and it's so fun. So fun. Another one that came to mind was when we were in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
We talked to this juice bar. I forget what they were called.
Which one was it?
But he said he served a customer and
oh, the airplane one?
yes. There was a pilot that had been to our juice bar and been to his juice bar, and he mentioned us to them, not knowing who we are, or just in Findlay, Ohio. I had this great juice, and you guys do such an awesome job too. And that one
That's
was
what
really
he said
cool.
to that juice bar was, "Wow, this is good. You know, I had this juice in Findlay, Ohio that was amazing, and this is really good too." Blah blah blah. And like, what's the coincidence of that? Oh my
So
gosh.
wild, such a fun, so fun. Anyways,
So wild.
our first impressions are. That's like your first date. Like, are you going to get called
Yes,
back, or
yes.
are you going to get left hanging the next day? And we want people to try our juice and walk right back in the door and buy more. It's that good.
And to say that if you need great recipes, you should check out our recipe ebook, which is our full menu.
Yes,
because
for
it's
sure.
wonderful.
So, first impressions are fun.
I mean, they say if you can get a customer to come 3 times, they're a customer. So that first time is major. I mean, that's going to determine. You think about, you go to a new restaurant. Okay, think about how many new restaurants open, and I always say your soft opening is not a time to like make mistakes and to be like, oh,
Yeah,
we
for
can just
sure.
like, it's our soft opening, so people will have grace towards us. I actually agree the exact opposite. Your soft opening, you need to make sure every customer, you are 10 out of 10 serving them.
Yeah.
Because these are all first impressions. You're a brand new business, and this person has a good impression. They're going to bring their friends and their family back and rave about you. We've been to soft openings before where we're like, what is going on here? Like, this is not okay. And then they always kind of say like, oh, sorry, our first couple of weeks were so rough. We're trying to figure it out, which we get, but also it's like, that's your first impression of that business.
You
is
should
like,
be ready to roll.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, this was just not good, and I don't know if I want to go back and give them another chance because we're busy, like, right? Like, your customers are busy, and so it's so important that you just knock them out of the park on that first impression. Sales, service, communication, cleanliness, flavor, listening to your customers' needs and finding a juice that will suit them best. because then they come back for number 2 visit, and you do
for
it
sure.
again, and then number 3. It's just so important.
And where preservation fits into that, like Jordan said, is having that confidence in your product, no matter what drink by date. These are 3 days old. No matter what day it's on, no matter when it was pressed, having that confidence in your product that customers can rely on, that we can rely on as a business, is everything. And I really believe it's what's going to get people to come back, or just not come back at all. Totally write you off. And in such a small area, like we're in such a small town, we have no tourist foot traffic. We don't get one-off customers coming in randomly. Our first impressions, there's no room for error there.
Nope.
We need to hit these out of the park every time. So.
All right, let's get into it.
Juice extraction. So there's obviously, if you juice the same produce, the exact same recipe on different styles of juicers, there's going to be a different shelf life just based on the extraction from
Type
that
of juicer you're using,
And we kind of dove deep into this in our first episode of this podcast series, Juicy Conversations. You can go check that one out.
Is that what we're going with?
I don't know. This is episode 5. Welcome back to episode 5. We're having a lot of fun with this. But the most aggressive form of extraction is centrifugal juice. It's got about a 30-minute shelf life. You need to drink it immediately. And then masticating is in the middle here at about a 3-day shelf life. Depending on how well you kind of implement these preservative techniques, you can really kind of stretch that. And cold pressed juice is coveted as the gold standard because of its shelf life. It's the minimally invasive extraction method. It's the most gentle form of extraction. Produce stays cold throughout the process. It gives you the opportunity to really get that full extraction. Are we going live on Instagram? So, juicer is going to make and determine our biggest.
Is it too distracting?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm going to wait till it starts.
You're good.
So the juicer is going to ultimately determine kind of where we land in that shelf life as far as quality. And the next biggest thing is our produce. So we can have a juicer that costs as much as a new car, but if we're juicing produce that's 4 months old, say apples that are already turning to applesauce, we're not going to get a good end product. So it's so important that we really dial in all these different factors, and once you get good and you're paying attention, that can really lead to some awesome quality juice. So produce is, we recommend ordering enough produce to last you a week. Anything over that, you're going to start getting some funky juices that will start to separate, start to split. But if you can manage your produce orders well and typically structure them on the day that you're making your biggest production day, that's what we like to do around here. So produce rolls in and we juice a ton, and that's typically Friday for us, and we will move a ton of product that Friday, and customers will get awesome fresh juice, load their fridges, and then we'll do it all over again. So fresh isn't necessarily an indicator. I feel like I need to look at both cameras. So fresh isn't necessarily like fresh juice. Fresh isn't necessarily descriptive of when the juice was pressed. It's more so descriptive of when the produce was harvested. So we can't control when that produce was harvested, but we can control how often it's ordered and when it shows up to our juice shop, and how quickly we're able to move through it. So something to think about. Just using that produce in its prime. We often teach on that a lot. Use that produce when it's fresh, when it's ready to roll. If you have to, structure those daily special recipes around produce you need to move. Produce, I mean, it all comes down to produce. What you're putting into your juicer is going to play a big role in the end product of what comes out.
And it's interesting because first of all, we juice pretty much daily here, so we see we have a lot of trial and error. We see a lot of, yesterday's juice is doing this, what happened? Or like we get to experience that daily. And like one of them is peeling the lemons. That was a recent discovery. That's why we have so much to teach, is because we've juiced so much so often. There is so much trial and error. But what was up with that lemon thing?
Yeah, I think this is something that we really thrive in. We were raised by two people that have taught us to always kind of question everything and to always kind of dig deeper into topics, and like when there's a will, there's a way. Thank you, Mom and Dad. So this is like how our brains are wired, is to like dissect every little detail of every little process. And recently I was playing around. Our pineapple snaps always kept splitting. Our shark juices kept splitting.
So pineapple juices.
I thought it was the pineapple.
Okay.
But I started testing. We got a really bitter batch of sweet beets. And
Oh yeah, I
Jordan
was
mentioned it
like,
to me.
Lauren, this tastes different. What's
And I
going
was like,
on?
huh.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important you taste your juices over like a 4-day shelf life.
Yeah.
Hold on to them. I'm always holding on to product to taste after that kind of initial 24 hours because
Right.
things taste great when you just make them. But to taste them after a few days, that's when you're really getting into like, this is how my
How
product
did
is
this hold
doing.
up? Yeah.
So we tasted an old sweet beet and we were like, something is not right
Didn't
here.
taste right.
And I've been noticing our
And then we immediately pulled all the sweet beets, if you're curious. Like if something isn't 10 out of 10, we pull it. And we're like, this isn't good enough to serve.
again, first impressions.
Yeah.
So I started peeling our lemons, and ever since then, our pineapple snapped.
Have not been splitting.
So it wasn't the pineapple, it was our lemon-heavy recipes where that lemon was really present in that juice. So we can use lemon as a preservative, but we can also use lemon as a flavor component
Yeah.
in our juices, and the lemons with the ×4 lemon in there were really, the rind was really struggling. Just something in there wasn't right.
Something
so-
about that batch of lemons.
Yeah.
Right, because it's not always.
Correct.
It was just, we got this weird batch of lemons, and that's why it's so important to be aware of your produce that you're getting, like you were just saying. How
Yeah.
fresh is it? Maybe they were old lemons, and we didn't know. But we could tell after we juiced it and tried it.
For
Yeah.
sure. So always, and we train on this a lot in the collective. A new juicer doesn't necessarily recognize these trends, but your produce is going to be different every time it comes into your shop. And I wish we could control the produce and the quality
But we
and
can't.
get perfect produce every time we order produce, but a really skilled juicer or chef in the kitchen can
Yeah.
work around those things and even highlight them, and a salesman can move the product. And it's this game that we often talk about that we're
yeah, that's
playing,
what I was gonna say.
and it's so fun to play.
The game of loving, like dissecting the juice, watching the juice, figuring out the science of it all. And then like, we can't control the produce, but we control the product we put out. And it's like our honor to make sure we're making great juice for our customers, and to be like, we got to peel these lemons because our customers, maybe there's nothing nutritionally wrong with it, but like, we got to take care of our customers. And so it's fun to have that responsibility of a business owner and serving your customers.
For sure, for sure.
What's next?
So, a couple different preservation techniques that we've used. Do we have any questions we can answer?
We
live
do.
here?
We have a question. So we're live on our Instagram.
I kind of want to shut that AC off for the Instagrammers.
Oh, so they can hear. Okay. For those on the podcast, you probably follow us on Instagram, but we're live on Instagram right now, so we're going to take some questions. Do you guys raise your prices when your costs go higher, or do you write it out for the most part? It's a great question. So let's say pre-inflation year, this is the year of inflation, prices go up and down seasonally all the time. And you can expect it, after being in business for so many years, apples go up, but they come down, and lemons go up and then they come down, and limes go up and then they come down. And so it's very normal. You don't adjust your prices when you know it's an obvious trend. When there's something completely out of the norm and it's kind of catching your eye, and you look at your numbers and you're like, our whole menu as a whole, for example, maybe lemons double, or apples right now. Apples are really high and they've stayed high all year, which affects our whole menu because we use lemons and apples in our whole menu. That, as looking at your numbers, and you have to regularly look at your numbers to know this information, we could see our profit margins were really getting cut a lot, to where it makes you go, we might have to do something. So in that instance, yes, we did raise our prices this year. We went from $9 a bottle to $10 a bottle, and it was just necessary. So you just have to make the decision as a business owner, and looking at your numbers regularly and understanding what trends go on in the market and what is just true inflation, and it's time to increase your prices then. So there's kind of two different scenarios. And always, the lesson here is just literally always be running your numbers. So also we look at each individual recipe, but we also look at our menu as a whole. And we know that some of our, for example, right now, apple cider is very expensive right now. Apples are extremely expensive, and our profit margins on that aren't huge. It's an expensive item. on its own, and it costs a lot to make. But we also know we have other seasonal items like our chocolate milk that has a better profit margin. And so they kind of equal each other out when you look at your menu as a whole. So we don't always stress over single ingredient or single recipes when we know we have other highly profitable items on the menu.
Yeah, for sure.
And as a whole, it's selling well.
And we can also influence that with marketing, pushing those products that have great margin, marketing those products. That way we do have some influence over the majority of sales that are going out of our door. We can really highlight and prioritize a certain product at any given moment if we need to bump something or move something. So again, the power of marketing from our last podcast episode.
Marketing and sales skills. Okay, let's see if we have a couple more questions. What are your thoughts on freezing and shipping? Love it. I think it's a good thing to do. We don't do it here, but it's just not our business model. But if it's your business model, I think it's great. I did the same thing with my apples. I get them fresh, and I noticed a dry taste, and my farmer said you weren't ready. They weren't ready yet. I didn't sell that batch. Yep. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Makes sense. Absolutely. All right. Feel free to send in some more questions, and we'll answer them if you're on IG. We're filming a podcast.
Pod. We call it the pod.
We call it a pod.
It's a fun thing to call it. Okay. So we've talked about juice extraction. That's going to obviously determine like the kind of overarching shelf life of your juices. We've talked about how important quality of produce is. So now we're going to talk about specific preservation methods.
Are we doing it?
We're going to get there.
Oh, guys, if you're watching live, stay tuned. This is exciting.
So I kind of want to grab a cider.
Well,
let's regroup a little here.
Actually, we have a science presentation, y'all. LOL nerds. That's our brother, Stay Memphis. If you're traveling to Memphis, click on Stay Memphis. He's got tons of amazing Airbnbs.
We need to bring Kevin on for a pod.
Brother. Yeah, he's a business whiz.
We could talk about marketing or something fun. Side hustles. We'll bring him on for a side hustle edition.
There was one other thing I was going to say. Oh, the podcasts are pretty long, usually 30 minutes to an hour, which is why it's nice to listen to them on Spotify in the background.
So the main preservative that we use in our juices, I just put my TV voice on. The Instagrammers heard that. What? Like TV anchor voice. There's like my normal we're talking voice, and then it's like my...
Okay, I didn't notice it, but okay.
Maybe not. Maybe I did it.
Now you're all up in your head. Just go.
So the main preservative we use here at our shop is lemon. We use that acid. Think about it like you're slicing an apple slice, and if you're one of my mentees, we just beat this topic into the ground. This is the main thing we teach on, but think about it like you're slicing an apple and pouring lemon juice all over that apple. That's what we're doing here with our juices. So again, if you're looking to learn to make awesome juice, this is the core of what we teach on here, how to maximize that lemon throughout your juicing process to get extraction and bright, vibrant, beautiful juices with amazing color and that really long shelf life that you can have full confidence in. Another method that we have been loving recently is frozen juice, and we showed you guys that order in the beginning of the episode, but it's such a mentally satisfying process. I love process and procedure, and that frozen juice just really speaks to me, like my personality type. So we press it fresh, we bottle it in plastic bottles, we leave a little headroom here, and then we freeze them, and they thaw great.
They do.
The experience is so nice. So
you can't even tell it was frozen.
Cold pressed juice.
Cool.
Yes, cold pressed juice. You can tell little to no difference. Masticated juice, you will notice a little difference just because there is more insoluble fiber left behind from the process. So you will notice some, but it's such a great option, and our customers prefer it for buying in bulk. We do a lot of those. We touched on this last episode, but those immune boost packs, those stock your freezer for the family.
Yes. We do a lot of frozen things in the winter.
Yeah.
Because we market it for those purposes.
Yeah, because nobody wants to leave their house. They just want to stock up for the month and then be done.
Yep.
So we love a good frozen juice moment. I did want to show you guys this here.
What is this?
So this is our apple cider
Oh.
versus our snap, which is apple, lemon, ginger. This is just apple. So if this was juiced with lemon, it would look like this.
Yes.
So this is the power of a preservative here.
Like when you press straight apples, it comes out this color, but then it oxidizes. Yeah, it oxidizes and it goes brown. Yeah, that's what's happening here.
So a lot of people ask us why we don't put lemon in our apple cider. I get that question quite a bit.
Yep.
It's because we want it to oxidize and have that oxidized, that sugary, good flavor.
Yeah.
We don't want to preserve that.
I know, and it seems like a little like weird, right? Because we are trying to avoid oxidation, but there's the customer expectation. If we were selling apple cider, but it looked like this, you would be like, that doesn't look like apple cider. That's not what I'm used to. Like there's this expectation that does have to be met. And it would also change the flavor because traditional apple cider doesn't have lemon in it.
Yeah.
And so we want it to taste, to look, to perform just like apple cider. And the main positive of buying our cider is it's organic and it's unpasteurized. So you're not getting any glyphosate and you're not getting it pasteurized. So it still has all those micronutrients and live enzymes. Because it's raw and real. We should say that, raw and real. Well, pasteurized juice is real too. Just for sure.
All right.
Hi, friends.
In a endless pursuit of making the best juice in the world, I have been wanting to test this theory for such a long time. Let's set these back quick.
This is so fun.
We are testing. This is my first beta version test of this.
What does beta version mean?
I just feel like this is going to be a fun topic we're going to dive into over the years. But this
Yes.
is the first initial test we've done with it. So I bought some vitamin C. All this is vitamin C.
But what is it? It's called ascorbic acid. Yeah.
Ascorbic.
Ascorbic acid. Food grade.
Y'all, I just want to say real quick to all of my mentees that are like, oh, Lauren's suddenly putting vitamin C in her juices. We got to order some
just
vitamin C.
plain.
We're just testing this.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to taste these. We don't even know what they taste like yet. But just don't freak out yet. I think this would be really applicable. Like who's actually going to use this and need this information. I think masticating juice models will really benefit from this. Getting past that 3-day shelf life where we don't feel like we have to push that product so fast and move it quickly.
Right.
I think it'll be applicable there and maybe even the frozen juice line, just giving it that extra protection while it's in your freezer. But here at JK, we prioritize serving raw, fresh juice, so this isn't something we're going to be implementing. We move most of our product within 48 hours, so it's just not necessary from like a business standpoint. I think it's fun health-wise to maybe market something like this, and maybe we'll make a daily special for cold and flu season. But I tested a few different methods here, and I want to break them down for you guys.
Yeah. To clarify, we're not putting ascorbic acid in our juices. We're just having fun testing it as a preservative.
So I've always just over the years noticed that our juices loaded with vitamin C perform very well. Mm-hmm. And I recently saw a chef I follow. He was making guacamole and he was testing lemon versus vitamin C.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I got to do this.
We got to try this.
And it's always kind of been in my brain there, like, I'm sure vitamin C would do very well.
And we do get the question.
Yeah.
I mean, we get the question. We've gotten the question probably 10 times over the years.
This is one of the biggest topics that people are looking for in the industry, help with juice preservation. Anytime I post anything about our green juices looking beautiful, any juice preservation video we've ever covered, it's just, this is an answer that people need.
Yep.
So, things I tested here. Obviously, this is a no preservative. This is the control. And then, again, just for visual purposes, it's our classic. This is very lemon heavy.
This is our snap.
Yep, pineapple snap. So no lemon preservative, lemon preservative. Do I have these in the right order here? The next one I tested, was juicing with lemon, but adding the vitamin C to the bottle. Just kind of I put a gram in all of these. So it doesn't look too different, but noticeable difference here when I started to grind with the vitamin C.
Which is always kind of what we preach. It's just so funny to see another science thing behind what we believe and what we have seen our own results. Our SAMIC food processor.
Yes.
You can go for it.
This is like, what are you famous for? I would say, like, I'm famous for a food processor. So we love our Samick grinder for the ability to grind our batches as a whole, that we can really expose the lemon, really squeeze that lemon juice over every bit of produce.
Yeah.
Even before it hits the press bag, it's being preserved. So that's what we're known for, and we really specialize in. And when I put that vitamin C in this, I knew when I was grinding it with, I was like, this is going to be it. This is going to hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
So I think these are beautiful, and these I made Saturday. Today's Thursday, so they're pretty old.
Yeah.
Yeah, get in there, get in there.
Yeah, so we've got apple cider with nothing in it at all, our normal juice with lemon preservative, and then we've got ascorbic vitamin C added to the bottle, and then these are it grinded in the produce before pressing.
So cool.
Interesting.
So this one I did without lemon. No lemon, just vitamin C.
Oh, wow.
And I think that speaks volumes. Like, it works as a preservative, confirmed.
Yes. Wait, how old are these juices?
5 days.
5 days old. Okay.
5 days old. This is apple juice with, it's like 3 apples, Gala apples with vitamin C.
Grinded in the food processor.
Ground in the
with
food
it.
processor.
Not just put in the bottle and shaken, ground with it.
Yeah, so this was with it added to the bottle after grinding and pressing. This is with it ground with no lemon, 1 gram of vitamin C, which is
So
about a
fascinating.
1/4 teaspoon. I know, I just love this stuff. Oh my God, it's just
Just science.
nerd. But that is so cool. I want to taste this. Let's taste it.
We're gonna taste it. I just registered what you said. I was reading comments.
That's the only thing I'm worried about is flavor with this.
Yeah. But ascorbic acid is just vitamin C, right?
Yeah, think of those like emergency packets.
Oh.
Like that's one way that you could market it. And when we did the grocery store, we reacted to grocery store juices.
Yeah.
A lot of those, a strange amount of those juices were supplemented with like vitamin D, probiotics, all kinds of things. So this
is like supplementing your juice with vitamin C powder.
yes.
This is so interesting. Maybe we should do this.
I think this is going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with this over the years.
Look at this. 5 days old, straight apple juice, which normally oxidizes brown right away. And it's vibrant yellow.
Yeah, so this happened as soon as it was pressed, right after it was pressed. This is with the vitamin C.
Tastes great.
Yeah, tastes like apple juice.
Tastes delicious.
It does finish a little bit emergency packet, but
I didn't get that impression. I think it just tastes like apple juice.
I wouldn't notice if I wouldn't have been told. But I think this is such a cool topic. I just want to dive really deep into all of this.
We got to test all of our juices. We got to just keep playing with it. It's so fun.
So again, I think this is applicable to, and I'm probably my next test will be with the masticated juicer, just to see what it can do, just to see. But again, it's the ability to grind in the Samick, to expose it the moment it's ground. So there's a lot of tweaking here that needs to be done. But
right.
all right, this is lemon and vitamin C. So this is how we would do it here at the shop. Because lemon we wouldn't get rid of lemon because lemon adds so much value. What do they call lemon is
The salt of the juice world.
yeah, so it provides so much brightness
Yep.
to all of our recipes.
So we still need the lemon for the flavor, but this is interesting for. Oh, this will be so this one is lemon. It's and ascorbic acid. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're getting the preservative and the flavor. Woo. Oh yeah.
Woo!
More lemonade-y.
Woo! That's fun.
That is fun.
Ooh,
I like
very
that.
tart.
Is that our normal lemon portion? Or did you do more lemon?
I don't remember.
I know, you were just mainly
Lemon
doing
vitamin
the-
C for, I think I did like a half of a tiny lemon for
Yeah.
that. So
That's delicious. Tastes like lemonade apple juice. But that lemon flavor is good. Hello, good humans. From Westy. Hello, good humans.
hello, good human.
That's dope. Appreciate you guys. Have a peaceful day, everyone. Oh, I love that. You too. How are you grinding the powder in with the apples? Is it so it's distributed evenly?
So I put the lemon in the Samick, And then for that one,
And blitz it.
For that one, I blitzed it. I hit it first, and then I added the apple.
Yep. And then the powder.
It's good, yeah. But for this one, I didn't do anything special. I just dumped everything in.
Yeah.
Just like I would normally make it.
Yeah. The food processor mixes it pretty evenly.
It's like think of like a smoothie blender. That's
Yeah.
what we're doing here.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how much actually makes it into the juice when you grind with it,
Yeah, but it's like,
but I'm pretty sure
but clearly
it's working.
we're doing something right.
Yeah. And this is dirt cheap. Like that was another cool thing. Like
Oh.
if you're pinching pennies, this is dirt cheap.
Yes.
Quarter teaspoon.
What a
is-
great solution this is.
I know.
For so many. This
I
is
know.
so cool.
It's just like right up our alley as far as what we love
This
all
is so
this.
fun. And for those listening, we'll train on this a lot in the collective.
For sure.
That's where we will definitely talk about it the most. And we'll probably start touching on it in our for sure we'll talk about it in the October masterclass.
Yeah.
And just educate on it. And
It's just such an easy win. And again, I know a lot of the new juicers that we bring in.
yeah.
Juicing is such an art, and it's a skill that takes time to require.
Right.
You are essentially becoming a chef, and when we bring you in, a lot of the learning and tweaking is just kind of frustration towards like, hey, your juices are beautiful. Mine are kind of struggling over here, and I think this is going to be such a quick, easy win for a lot of people trying to make bright, vibrant juices like this right off the bat. It's just very easy, very user-friendly, and cheap, dirt cheap. So.
Yeah.
This might be kind of like a cheat code is what I'm thinking, until you can really master that art of the Samick grind. And it isn't complicated. It just takes time. You just got to put in the work. They say when somebody makes something look easy, it's because they put in 10 years of work.
Yes, absolutely. And why we're not, you maybe already said this, it's just not necessary. We don't need to add this to our juices because we move product so fast and it's just not necessary. But it's fun and it might be necessary for some. Yeah.
Yes. Could be a quick, easy win for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think cold and flu season, it would be a fun time to market this and just be like, hey, we've got a vitamin C juice, like an emergency boost that can really get you feeling good. And for it's so cheap. And you can really get a lot of use out of such a small amount. So fun.
This
So
is so
fun.
cool. If you're just tuning in, this whole podcast will be posted soon. If you're like, what are you guys talking about?
You can see it. You can actually view us on Spotify as well. There's a video if you're listening, but also like, hey, what are they talking about? You can kind of tune in and out of Spotify, which is why I really like that platform. And y'all have been showing up. Thank y'all for, let's do a round of applause for our people. Y'all are out here sharing stuff. I love the community that we've really built, and it's just this like family. Y'all are.
The whole juicing community is just so cool.
We're really educating our people and bringing a lot of people into the juice world, and it's because y'all continue to show up and share stuff and interact and engage, and we just have so much fun doing this with y'all. It is truly a joy. So thank y'all for showing up.
Yes.
All right, we've got a couple more topics here.
We do? Man, we're still going.
So the next critical item in your juice preservation, in creating beautiful juices, so we've talked about extraction, we've talked about shelf life, we've talked about the importance of produce, we've talked about preservatives, we haven't talked about maintenance of your equipment. So as juice bars, we crank out hundreds or thousands of juices a week on our equipment. It is very important that we keep it clean and we regularly descale our bags. That press bag has a surprisingly big impact on the quality of juice you put out. Think of it like brewing coffee through a filter you've already brewed coffee through. You've got to take care of those bags, and you will notice a big difference in your quality of juice when you start descaling those bags. Again, another topic we teach on quite a bit in our mentorship resources.
Yes.
Last topic I wanted to kind of cover here is my juice is splitting topic, and we've covered this a little in the beginning. I need a drink.
She needs a drink.
But juice splitting is not, when your juice splits, it's more of an indicator that there's room for improvement in your process.
Yes, but it's not a bad
It's not a bad thing.
Yes.
And again, have some grace for yourself when you're learning to juice. This takes time. This takes a lot of patience and a lot of paying attention to every little detail.
Right.
What's working, what isn't. Your juices will speak to you. You just gotta listen and really fine tuning in all these variables that we've talked about today is going to get you into a product that is.
It's kind of like how you have different levels of chefs, you know? Like you can make a good salad, or you can make a 5-star crazy good salad, and the good salad is still good, but the crazy salad is like knocks your socks off.
People
right?
drive hours away to come try it.
People drive far away for it. They pay top dollar for it, and it's something to be really like admired, right? It's not just you're eating; it's like you're doing more than that. So that's how you should view your splitting juices.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many variables that go into this. Your display fridge could be not holding proper temp.
Yes.
We keep ours ice cold. That's probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, so easy. Just make sure your fridge is so cold.
Go turn your fridge down right now.
Borderline freezing.
What else is there? There's so many things coming to mind. You could have missed a bad apple in your batch. Sometimes we don't cut every apple open or every lemon open. It could just have been a bad apple. It could be that your bag needs to be descaled. It could be you're not juicing fresh produce. All these things that we just look for those red flags that are going to help you quickly diagnose the problem. Our sweet beets are really bitter. What's going on? And you'll start to notice those things over the years as you juice, and you'll get really good at making consistent, high quality juice when you pay attention to all these topics, and maybe even throw in some vitamin C. And slowly but surely, you will become an amazing juicer that makes awesome juice that consistently holds its shelf life and performs the exact same way that you made it fresh off the press. That's what we're going for. We want to have that confidence when somebody totally random. My favorite first impressions are the people that don't know us at all. The people that haven't fallen in love with our brand or us over the last 10 years. They just come in and want a good juice, and they're shocked. Their mind is blown.
Right.
And they're like, yes, like you guys nailed it.
Right.
That's what we're going for. So hope you guys enjoyed this podcast.
Yes.
This is fun. This is like my favorite thing ever.
It's so interesting, this whole vitamin C powder preservative thing. I'm excited to dive more into it.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to hold on to these for another week or two.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
See how it holds up.
Just to
like
see.
2 weeks. Ooh.
Not that we would ever want to serve that, but
No.
it's fun to see what is possible. So
Yeah.
thank y'all for following us throughout this podcast journey. We're having so much fun creating this content for you guys. Next week, we're going to dive into nut and seed milks. We're just going to unload that whole topic.
Ooh,
That's
that's a topic.
It's going to be a lot, but it'll be fun. We are excited to get this up and out to you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in on Instagram.
I know, we had
This is
a lot
fun.
of
We should
viewers
do this
for a while.
We should do this next time.
I know. We got some live questions, which is cool.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at JKJuices.
All right. I think we're good.
Any
We're
questions?
done.
Any last minute questions?
Thanks. Nope, just a lot of people saying thanks and giving hearts.
All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys. Or should we keep the live
After
going?
hours on Instagram.
I know.